Welcome back to another update on stimulus and Social Security changes. Bernie Sanders has confirmed that he's going to try and include a $1,000 stimulus check for seniors in this next stimulus package. If you watched my last couple of updates, you know that Bernie Sanders proposed this last week, and it has support from people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. So let's take a look and see where things stand today. But before we do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I also have a second channel, so if you could do me a huge favor, click on the link that's in the description of this video. Go ahead and subscribe to my second channel. I'm going to be giving away a stimulus check on that channel just as a thank you for supporting my work. Okay, so last week news broke that Bernie Sanders was pushing for a $1,000 stimulus check specifically for seniors who are on Medicare. Now, this does include the majority of people who are on Social Security, SSI, and a large chunk of people on SSDI. So as always on my channel, this video is geared towards that group of people. There are a lot of different names for this stimulus check. Some people are calling it a $1,000 voucher. Some are calling it a stimulus check. But either way, this is a $1,000 cash payment specifically for seniors. And Bernie Sanders said that the reason to do this would be to help seniors pay for their healthcare costs. Now, at this point, most of you know that Bernie Sanders has been pushing to include an expansion of Medicare in this next stimulus package. And that would include lowering the qualification age to 60 instead of 65 and expanding it to include vision, dental, and hearing care. Now, it looks like both the House and the Senate have mostly agreed on including all of these things in this stimulus package. Now, where they disagree is exactly how long it will take to implement this. Bernie Sanders wants to have all four of these things implemented by the end of 2022. He wants to lower the age to 60 and have vision, dental, and hearing care all included within 12 months. Now, this is where the House disagrees with the Senate. The House released a statement last week saying that they want to phase these things in over 6 years. So this is something that's currently being negotiated. Progressive Democrats don't want seniors to wait 6 years to have their dental care covered. They want to get it done within 12 months. And on top of that, they now want to do a $1,000 stimulus check for seniors to help them cover their medical costs in the meantime until Medicare is fully expanded. Now, advocates for Social Security benefits are saying that they should use the same template that they used for stimulus checks, and they're urging Congress to send these stimulus checks immediately via a debit card or a check, just like they did the previous stimulus checks. Now, Bernie Sanders recently gave an update saying that the overwhelming majority of Americans want their government to finally stand up for them and stand up for seniors. Not for the drug companies, not for health insurance companies, and not for the fossil fuel industry. He then went on to say that the pharmaceutical industry right now is spending millions and millions of dollars trying to make sure that you continue to pay 10 times more than people in other major countries. Does that sound acceptable to you? And Bernie Sanders recently held an interview explaining exactly why we need to expand Medicare, approve a $1,000 stimulus check for seniors, and make sure that we tax the rich in order to make sure this is paid for. So let's take a look, see what Bernie Sanders had to say, and let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below.
Should start paying their fair share of taxes to help us rebuild America and create the jobs that we need.
If you have to make the choice, because some of your Democratic Senate colleagues seem to have a little bit of nervousness about voting for some of these tax increases, but they will vote for the spending. Will you take the spending if it doesn't come with the tax increases?
Well, the devil is in the details, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I think what has got to happen is we have got to begin addressing the enormous crises facing this country. And that is what I think the president is trying to do. I think once we start discussing these issues in the Congress, there will be differences of opinion. But I think there is a consensus, at least within the Democratic caucus, that now is the time to start protecting working families and the middle class, and not just the 1%.
One of the things not included in the president's plan was some things that you wanted to see, including lowering the eligibility age to Medicare, in particular being the biggest one there. And I want to ask you about it in conjunction with this statement that James Carville made, and I want to bring it up here. It has to do with Joe Manchin. He says, the Democratic Party can't be more liberal than Senator Joe Manchin. That's the fact. We don't have the votes. And I bring this up because Senator Manchin has said he's not in favor of lowering that eligibility age. Do you think that was probably why Joe Biden didn't include your provision in his plan?
No, I don't think so. James Carville can live in his world. I don't think he's terribly relevant to what happens in Congress right now. Here is the story, very simple story, is that right now, for the last 55 years, since Medicare was developed in 1965, it has not included coverage for dental care, hearing aids, and eyeglasses. And I can tell you, in Vermont and all over this country, you got senior citizens whose teeth are rotting in their mouth, older people who can't talk to their grandchildren because they can't hear them because they can't afford a hearing aid, and people who can't read a newspaper because they can't afford glasses. So to say that dental care and hearing aids and eyeglasses should be a part of Medicare makes all the sense in the world. Second of all, we're going to pay for this. This is a pay for. Right now, as I think every American understands, we pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. We're getting ripped off every day by the pharmaceutical industry, who in some cases charges us 10 times more for the same drug that's sold in Canada or in other countries. So what we want to do is what the American people want to do. We want to negotiate prescription drug prices with the industry through Medicare. When you do that, you save about $500 billion, and that can cover the cost of dental care, eyeglasses, and hearing aid under Medicare, as well as lowering the eligibility age to 60. That's what we have to do. We have a pay for that.
Before I let you go, we have, obviously, the virus is pretty out of control in India. It's not in good shape in Brazil. These are two pretty big countries that could have an impact on us, both our health and our economy. Our vaccine distribution, we have a lot here. Should we start sharing it faster than we are now, particularly when you see what's going on in our hemisphere and in India? Should we be more aggressive here? It seems like we've been a bit, some might argue, overly cautious about our vaccine supply.
Well, I think a couple of things, Chuck. The answer is yes. I think we've got to obviously make sure that every American gets vaccinated as quickly as possible. But I do think not only do we have a moral responsibility to help the rest of the world, it's in our own self-interest. Because if this pandemic continues to spread in other countries, it's going to come back and bite us at one point or another. But the second thing we should do is not only make sure that excess vaccines in the United States get around to countries that need it, we should deal with this issue through the World Trade Organization of protecting the intellectual property rights of the drug companies. And I think what we have got to say right now to the drug companies, when millions of lives are at stake around the world, yes, allow other countries to have these intellectual property rights so that they can produce the vaccines that are desperately needed in poor countries. There is something morally objectionable about rich countries being able to get that vaccine, and yet millions and billions of people in poor countries are unable to afford it.
Glad you brought up the intellectual property rights issue, because that is something we want to get manufacturing started as soon as possible in some of these remote areas. Anyway, Senator Bernie Sanders, the progressive independent from Vermont, thanks for coming on and sharing your perspective.
So with that said, guys, Bernie Sanders is fighting to tax the rich, expand Social Security benefits, and approve a $1,000 stimulus check that would be specifically for seniors who are on Medicare. And this does include most people on Social Security, SSI, and a large majority of people on SSDI. Now, currently, Democrats are putting together the details of that stimulus package, which is the American Families Plan, and Nancy Pelosi has set a deadline of September 27th to try and get this done, as well as trying to get the infrastructure stimulus plan done by that date as well. Now, with that being about a week away, we're not sure if they're going to hit that deadline, but either way, we should have a lot of updates soon as to whether or not this $1,000 stimulus check for seniors will be included in this stimulus package. So don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep you updated on the next two stimulus packages, Social Security changes, and daily news updates as well. And thank you so much for watching. So until the next video, take care and have a great day.